on light burn today because I went out and was doing something and I wanted to make sure that I had it running. Um, I wanted to make sure I had it running before I did anything or before I pulled the software down. So I was able to do some things with light burn. But I think I've got some tuning I need to do on the laser itself because between I need to run a focus and figure out where the focus is. The air assist and the pump and the polarizer.
Yeah, so one thing that's important to do is put like the head in each corner and make sure it's hitting the same spot, ideally center.
Well, if it's not hitting it on the center, it won't hit it in the same spot.
Well, not necessarily. You can hit off center and not. There's a lot of variability, but in order to make sure that your first two mirrors are lined up properly, move to the four corners and make sure it's hitting in the same spot. If it's not, you got to get that first, and then from there, usually, at least on my head, you can adjust. Oh my God.
There's an adjustment on the head.
Yeah, so that's how you get it to hit center.
So what I need to do is get that part.
I just dropped heated inserts all over the floor.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got some. I was running low, so I ordered some. Because I didn't feel like having to dig them out of scrap parts. Like, not that I won't at some point, but I didn't want to have to resort to that yet. Anyway, I need new socks. Not sure how, but all of a sudden, all my socks seem to have holes in them, and it's driving me crazy. It seemed like all of my pairs of socks got holes in them simultaneously somehow. Like they all wore out, at the same time.
Well, that's a thing.
I meant to do it when I went to the store yesterday and completely spaced out on it. I've got some socks that don't have holes in them, but they're worn so thin that like the mesh of the sock, or like the internal mesh that all the fuzzy stuff was woven to, is visible.
Okay.
Not that that has anything to do with anything, but there you go.
That's all right. I gotta get ready to push the new Duet firmware. I don't know why. I mean, literally, this was working last night, and then it stopped working, and all I did was unplug the cables, run them through the nylon sheath, and put them back. And put them back on. So, I mean, the stepper moves in the right direction, and if I manually trigger the switch, it triggers properly.
All right. Well, time to... I really hope that after this change, the belts don't need to be magically a little bit longer than they are right now, because that will disappoint me.
Oh, jeez. That could be a pain.
Yes, that would be tragic. Because that'd be another $50 in gate belts that I'd have to throw down.
Mm.
I know somewhere.
I need to push the firmware to all the subboards now.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on RC8 for a little while because it works.
Yeah.
And
I was on RC10 and 12. Daniel and I had a conversation about it after you left. He says they fixed a lot of the stuff that was in RC8 and 10, 11. It looks like they made a jump in internal numbering.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh no. Just realized there's probably new belt clamps and I haven't printed them. Crap. Oh boy. Well, I have removed the first belt.
Okay.
That's the one thing I haven't taken apart in the Core XY, I think. Till now. Have you ever seen a sitcom, Community?
Which one?
It's called Community.
I've heard of it, but I haven't
Yeah, just
really watched it.
yeah, it's something we found on Netflix, and been enjoying it quite a bit.
So, I mean, I've heard that it's good.
I'd never heard of it at all until it just we seen the Asian fellow that from the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
He's a professor at this community college. And we're enjoy watching TV shows with him, so we're like watching it. My wife seems to laugh a lot, but for some reason she doesn't seem committed to watching it. Like whenever I'm like, "Do you like it?" and she's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "But you're cracking up all the time. How do you not like it?"
Yeah.
Like I've seen her laugh more at this show than I've seen her laugh at some other shows that she claims to really like. So I find it a little
Yeah.
perplexing.
I got nothing but streaming errors at this point.
Really? I'm not sure why. Looks like it's working.
I think there is a serious problem with the toolboard, or toolboards in general, is that it seems like the heaters fail on.
When you say streaming errors, are you talking about with what you're doing, or are you talking about my YouTube stream?
Oh, I'm sorry, streaming errors in my
Okay. Had me concerned for a second. So you think there's something wrong with the tool board that you have, or tool boards in general?
Well, I know I have a tool board, but there's the failure mode for the tool board is if there's a firmware failure, right? The tool board fails with the heater on. So my heaters, when I had this fault, the heaters all came on my tool boards.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a significant design flaw. So I need to see what I can do to fix this.
Is it known?
Don't know. I gotta go find it. I mean, I've unplugged both of the tool boards.
Completely forgot about my screwdriver. I'm sitting here going, like, wrenching on these things, and I'm like, this is taking forever. What an idiot. I wonder if that problem happens in the 3HCs as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they run the same firmware, don't they?
I think they do.
Just realized I completely forgot to add in your suggestion about making a clearance hole in the part so that you can get the cable in and out of it. Wish I wouldn't have forgot that. Not sure how I forgot it, considering we were talking about it. And I could have just done it when we were talking about it.
Yeah, for fun.
Hello.
Hello.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure.
Sure.
The Z-axis screws, how much room is there for error?
What do you mean?
Oh, I just received them from Zoltag and put them together, and it's like, hey, one of them is actually longer than the other two. But it's like, it's
Oh,
not much. It's a millimeter and a half.
probably fine.
Put it in the Z. You'll be fine. Or
Well,
put that one on the back.
Yeah,
Put the longer one on the back.
I agree.
okay. Yeah, I was surprised to see the precision being off.
It's okay. I don't know that I've got a functioning machine at the moment.
Uh-oh, what happened?
The expansion board just stopped working. So I tried to reset the firmware on it, and it's just not playing along. And I've got to go through, and because it's not working, the downstream boards aren't working. And because the downstream boards aren't working, every time it starts, I just get a screaming errors that it can't get a response from anybody. So essentially, I have to shut it all down, add a set of terminators to the expansion board, strip everything out of the configuration file for all the tools, and then basically build it back up from there. Just to see if I can figure out what's wrong.
That's a distribution board, right?
No, I've got an expansion board that goes to the distribution board that goes to two tool boards.
Have you tried changing the chaining of the canopy?
Not yet, but literally it was working last night when I set it down, and this afternoon when I turned it on, it stopped working. So I was hoping that I could think of something. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
That sucks. It's funny, I sent one of my colleagues a photo of the Duet 3 board. Like, it's early Christmas.
Yeah.
I arrived today.
I mean, the board responds right away now when I send a command to it. Except, now granted, my tool boards aren't plugged in, but I'll go plug one of those in. The thing is, with the tool boards, when they have a firmware fault, the heaters fail on. That's a problem.
Yeah. Nah. Just make sure you have a fire suppression system.
Okay, now I gotta see what 4 flashes on the tool board mean. Because that's a code. Okay. It says
What does it mean?
the board has two buttons, blah, 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 blah. It also flashes startup error codes, for example, with the bootloader. But if you, I'm trying to read through the rest of it and see if, for example, um, okay, so I'm looking at this right here, the Dozuki, and this is why I find their documentation poor. It says it flashes startup error codes. Okay. And that's it. Okay, what are the error codes?
See, that's the thing. They probably have the documentation. It's just that it's not in a place that you would logically think to look for it.
Oh, it's probably in a forum post somewhere, right? You know, if you've got the Duet 3 toolboard, introduction, buttons, LEDs, commissioning a new toolboard, other resources. Other resources are go to this WordPress for somebody who go to this other WordPress for somebody who was setting up a Humera with the toolboard. Oh, okay, but yes, Levi, you are a beautiful boy. That's okay. I'm gonna just unplug it. I'm gonna hold down both boards and both buttons, and I'm gonna reset it to factory defaults, and then I'll push firmware back out to it.
Actually, with the new hole that he has, the connector I used for my switch fits through the hole on the plate, no problem. So I don't know if you're
Okay.
using a bigger connector than me, but doesn't seem like it'll be necessary. Now the old one was definitely way too small.
Buttons can be used to generate triggers in the normal way. The pin names are button 0, button 1. They require power for this or blah, blah, blah. Note the board will do a factory reset if you power it up with both buttons held down.
So 4 flashes. The bootloader requested a firmware data block from the main board, but the main board didn't respond in time.
Where did you find that? I'm gonna guess in a forum post.
Nope.
Is it in? Where is it at?
Spittling in live stream.
So have I mentioned that their documentation is poor?
Well, actually, it's in their getting started section, right? And the what happens if it doesn't start?
That's in the.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't, like, they have the information. It's just not always where you would think it would be. You know, it's like you have to know the way their mind works or something like that. It's not in the.
So if I went to the
Not indexed
toolboard
well.
page, the toolboard page doesn't say anything about this. Right? You know, if you receive an error code while commissioning a toolboard, find the error codes here. I mean, I can go and edit that, maybe. But I'm going to try to bad firmware CRC, and the bootloader didn't get anything from the main board.
Yeah, so Yeah, I would try switching out CAN FD cables, things like that. Make sure the communication works.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to reset it because otherwise I'm going to have to wire up a connection to the expansion board and then try to push something to it. Which, if I have to like create a new connector in order to find a shell and then do that, that tells me that the tool boards are not ready for prime time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have to go to the extent of you know creating that kind of thing in order to make it function.
Well, it's pretty standard, isn't it? Even PCs flash codes when they start up.
Well, apparently I can't even reset. I can't even do it. It won't do a factory reset. Bootloader can be reprogrammed using the FWD connector. If using an Intel ICE to do the programming,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the bootloader because that error is coming out of network stack. That means the bootloader is fully started. It's a communication issue.
yeah. Well, the thing is, in order to get I'm getting a bad CRC followed by the main board's not responding.
Right. Well, again, right. So best case, it's a bad cable. Worst case, you somehow managed to fry one of the ports.
That's always fun.
I'm getting the feeling like they rushed the tool boards. Seem to be having way more problems with the tool boards than I ever had with the 3HCs.
That's all right. My 3HC stopped working too.
What? Yeah, I don't know what you got going on then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a cabling issue, and hopefully not a cabling issue that's frying ports.
Well, let's put it this way. Both tool boards started doing it at the same time.
Maybe you messed up your CAN addresses somehow.
Could be it.
Try only having one board plugged in at a time.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Well, I have to install jumpers and, I have to, you don't, you can't, I don't have a way to plug in a tool. Levi, what is it? Sorry. He is like completely underfoot and he's big enough that when he pushes on me, I move.
Well, you shouldn't have a mountain lion for a cat.
Yeah.
Here's the orange one.
Yeah. He's 15 pounds.
It's a sizable cat.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember. Have you ever shared your actual first name? I'm Rosa.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just
Can you hear me?
wondering. Yeah.
I didn't hear the question. What's up?
I was just wondering if you had ever shared your first name.
Oh, first name's Aaron. Yeah. Sorry, I never really did introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Aaron.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm Eric.
It's a pleasure to meet you guys formally. You guys have been pretty awesome with all the troubleshooting tips. It is appreciated.
Troubleshooting.
Yeah,
Now I've got no tools at this point, so there you go.
What?
And it could be my Raspberry Pi that's just not working. It could be any number of things. Duet Duet firmware file. The tool bin is not found. What? Hold on. Duet firmware tool 1LC bin, and it's looking for 1XD. Oh, that's weird. Why is it looking for that?
All right. Carriage is disassembled. Forgot to put heated inserts in all my parts. Guess I should do that.
Okay, firmware's there. That's fine. No response. Okay, now it's there. Now I have to change its address back. Great. Hey, the first tool came back.
Nice.
It came back.
Well, I managed to get it to factory reset. Now I have to reset the CAN address so it's back to the right CAN address. So it's an M952. And it says I should be able to send an M999, but that doesn't always work. And it might we'll find out. Okay. So the address is working. That's good. Okay. And let me see if I can bring forward 21 back on. So board 21 is not working. Let me go ahead and factory reset it to
Why is it board 21 instead of 2 or something like that? Just because that's what you wanted, or?
I'm using I'm starting my tool boards at
20?
Yeah.
So did you do like the 3 HCs at 10 or something?
3HC is 0. 3HC is 1.
Gotcha.
Seriously, dude. Here. It's looking for a bin file that doesn't exist. What is it, buddy? What is it? You just want me to sit down. So I keep getting this firmware duet tool 1xd file not found, but maybe I just need to go find, because 1lc is the one that's in my system folder. Maybe I need to go find a 1xd and bring it in. And so I don't think 1xd exists. I think it's been deprecated. Because by the way, again, going back into you're not gonna find.
I can say my version of the carriage definitely uses its share of heated inserts, that's for sure.
Alright, where am I gonna find this?
Is it part of RepRap 3 instead of the candidate releases?
I don't. I'm trying to find the right assets. I gotta go roll backwards through the asset list to see which file it's looking for. It's looking for Duet 3 firmware tool 1 XD or something, which I guess is the.
Well, I'm just saying if you rolled it back, you might need to put RepRap 3.0 back on it instead of the release candidates.
Well, I'm not trying to. I mean, the thing is, the other one came back, but the second one did not.
I thought you factory reset this one.
I did factory reset it, but it can't find the file. So if I have to roll the whole thing back to the release.
Well, you'll at least need to put the 3.0 files on there. Probably has that.
Yeah, if I can find the 3.0 file, it's like I just gotta figure out where it is, because I guess I need to go to master branch. There's the build instructions. I don't want to build it from source. I want to find the freaking.
A version of the tool carriage adds 16 heated inserts.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tool 1XD. Apparently his board is dead until I can find that thing. And I will do something complicated.
Should be in the GitHub.
I'm on the GitHub and it's not there. Because the binaries don't live on the GitHub.
What's the file you're looking for?
Tool 1 XD bin. Duet 3 firmware underscore tool 1 XD bin. Which at this point it looks like I'm going to have to roll everything back to the alpha or to the core and then start over from there. Or just find a copy of this one file. Because that's what it's looking for and it can't find it. Although, maybe, who knows, it's now in sync. What the hell? Yep, it came back. Great. Now I just have to rename it. Everything comes back. I'm not sure why it was looking for that, and then it just eventually came back. Everything's in sync. course, everything now looks like it's behaving properly.
Well, that's good.
Right. Try zeroing things and see what happens. Or homing things. And everything just works perfectly. I don't even know. I'm not even going to speculate at this point. Who can tell, right?
Indeed.
Where did my
Hey. Found one of the boxes I was looking for. I was looking for something else. I have no idea what I did with the jig for pressing the pins in to the carriage. Oh, I betcha I know.
All right. Okay. Seems to be working.
Huzzah!
No idea, but that is just like super frustrating. Is that the? Oh wow, that came out nice. And the heat set inserts, I think you're gonna really like.
Oh, yes, definitely. I really didn't like not having them in that particular part.
Are you gonna make up a dummy just to make sure everything fits up?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're gonna just work it out, put it together before you put it on the carriage, or you're gonna put it on the carriage right away?
I'm just going to put it on the carriage. It's the exact same hole location. All I did is make them the holes bigger for heated inserts. I didn't do any, I didn't do any kind of redesign at all. Just bigger holes.
I'm going to try to take a little video of deploying a brush. Maybe we'll see. I might have to put it on YouTube. We'll see.
You can always link it from your Google.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to do YouTube for some reason.
Well, I can put the stuff on YouTube. So, all right, let's see. Start the video. Okay, we're going to deploy a brush.
Cool.
The bed is less than 75. And I will restore the brush. And restore the brush. Yes, Beckers. What? Come on. I'm gonna watch my videos anyway. Yeah, that video is over here. That's right there. I know. Are you trying to tell me your Google's empty or something? Because I feel it earlier. You guys are getting too fat anyway.
Psychology of the cat is if they can even think they see the bottom of the bowl, that means they need more food.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Decker definitely, because he was a stray for the first year and a half of his life, almost 2 years. So he he has food issues.
Well, you were able to domesticate him?
Yeah, well, he was hanging out in the yard, and I almost got him to come in, and then Animal Control caught him. And I went and got him from the shelter. They were saying that he was completely feral and would never be, wasn't suitable for a house cat.
Yeah, odds are not good if they're their entire life outdoors.
He's just a big fluffy ball.
Well, I'm glad he fell into the domesticated lifestyle. Okay, it's not common from my understanding.
Not that much. But he's a good boy. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna have to put this on. It's almost 30 seconds long, so I'm gonna have to put it up on YouTube. It's not necessarily about the angle. It's what I could reach.
And nowhere in all of my junk can I find a stupid jig that I need. I can find every useless print I've printed since putting the Jubilee together.
I don't remember how I add something to YouTube. Can I add it from my phone?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Uploading. And I'll make it out once I get it. I want to be cut, but I also Alright, let's get that.
Very cool.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
It's really tight. So if it doesn't park, if it hasn't been homed and you start driving the bed down, you're going to catch on the
Right. Right.
I mean, there's not a lot of clearance there. There is clearance. There's just not a lot. And it can be moved. I mean, I think I can drive it one direction or another. I can't mount it on the other side right now. It's designed to go into holes in the acrylic.
Can you put a
Quick little bracket.
Can you put a limit switch on the brush? Make sure it's parked before the Z-axis moves again.
Oh, I mean, it's got a homing.
Does it? Okay.
So there's a limit switch down. If you look down at the bottom, there's a limit switch. However, you know, if when you go to home your Jubilee, I always speak not good. It is the last axis to home.
Right.
So if you do a home all,
Gotcha.
it homes the X, and then it homes the Y, and then it homes the Z, and that puts it up near the top.
Right.
Which means you've got some clearance under the bed for the movement that the brush arm does. I'm also a little concerned that my tool 1 now reads a lower temperature than I'm expecting it to be. Well, okay, that was the brush arm getting broken by the carriage.
That didn't sound good. Yeah. Holy
Nope.
cow.
So that's a location that it can't go in, and I will have to make a new one. We are done for the night.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Just
You know, when I mentioned this in one of the others, I noticed your Z-axis moves large steps really smoothly. Mine, for whatever reason, when I do like plus 50 moves, maybe one or another of my Z motors either loses steps or it just stops, or it like binds somehow. But I don't know what I'd be binding against.
so take the upper restraints off your Z-axis with your lead screws.
Okay.
See if that makes a difference.
Okay.
Also check and make sure that your Z currents.
What should they be? I was actually looking at that because I was changing my U current to make sure I'm locking correctly. I read that in one of the other threads.
Yeah, that's the locking currents, but as far as the Z is concerned, they should be pretty good. I'll get to
No problem.
get to where I'm at.
What motors
I
did
think
you buy?
they were like lower than my X and Y currents. Is that right? They
Yeah,
they were at like 17.
that sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, 1750 where X and Y are 1950.
Yep. Well, remember the Z's don't really take a lot of.
Right.
Hey, Levi. I guess I'll be printing a new brush frame tonight.
Yay.
And yeah, I need to drop a little lower so that the carriage clears, because the carriage apparently does not clear. And yeah, it just snapped right off.
At least you got one good video first.
Yeah, well, there you go. I think that's an indication that I should just go to bed.
joined all the heaters, and just kind of going through the wiki, looking at like some of the setup stuff. Other than setting tool offsets and tool parking positions, you know, because I'm on setting up my tools, I think I'm gonna have to get started with TAMV. So I may be asking for some help with that.
Yeah.
Have you printed with one tool yet?
Well, I'm able to get it like locked on one tool. I haven't done anything except for manually placing it on the carriage and locking and unlocking, and that works, and it's really solid.
I know it's exciting to get multiple tools going, but really, I mean, I would focus on getting one tool working perfectly and then worry about multi-tool, but that's just
And I mean,
because I'm slow and methodical.
Well, right. So really, I'm only worrying about one tool, but I'm unsure of how much I need to do with making sure that it's parked and my offsets are correct before starting a print. Does that make sense?
Say that again. Sorry.
I'm unsure if I need the tool offsets and to start from a parked position in order to print, or if I could
You
just
You don't need anything but your Z offset. The other offsets, I mean, yeah, I went for quite a while before I had X and Y offsets on all my tools. So,
Gotcha.
you know, I got one nozzle dialed in really nice, and then I worried about the rest.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it'll still print okay with the G-code. It'll just print whatever the
It'll
offset
just be a little off center.
Right? Gotcha. So as long as I'm not printing a 300 by 300 square, I'm good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
What tools are you using?
So I've got an E3, the V6 BNG, like just straight off the wiki. And the other one that we kind of wanted to fool with only because it just seemed cool, and I'm starting to regret it, is a Titan Aqua.
A what?
One of the Aquas, the water-cooled ones.
Oh. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work unless you're going all in on the water cooling.
Yeah, we got it all set up, and everything's nice and tight, but just trying to get it to fit in the tool position to where nothing's obstructing any of the other tools. I think I'm going to have to lose another few millimeters because it's just a little fatter. So.
I just mean, like, as far as the Aqua goes, I mean, it's like a heated chambers is where that really shines.
Right.
Or, you know, it's not really meant for just everyday printing.
No. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I mean, it should still work.
Yeah, we'll see if we can even get it working. It probably is going to be a lot of work just for very little return. But it looks cool, and the kids were excited about doing it that way. So.
Fair enough.
So yeah, you were absolutely right. Remove those top supports, and it seems to move much more smoothly. All three.
Yeah, what I did is I kind of like worked on those top supports until it could spin in there fairly freely.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So that answers that question. We got tools. So if I just manually lock a tool onto the carriage, I can just send that thing G-code and start printing from from wherever that position is. I mean, sorry, you'll have to forgive my ignorance. The only
time you need to worry about its offset, like you said, is if you're going to do a really large print.
To go to the edge, right.
Otherwise, all you need to do is make sure your Z is nice and dialed in, and then you should be fine.
Gotcha. So I did just a manual. So after I level the bed, prep the Z. I use that macro. Somebody shared their system folder, and I use that prep Z, which does 3 bed levelings, and then
Yeah, that was from Josh. The tramming.
Gotcha. And then I did the bed mesh calibration, and then just manually baby stepped the Z up until I could barely move a piece of paper, and I marked down the Z position off of the Duet web control. Is that my offset, or do I have to take something else into consideration?
Essentially, you want to have tool 1 selected, go to the bed and lower it all the way down, and the nozzle should physically actually just touch. And when you look at your Z position, it should read 0.
Gotcha.
The other thing is make sure you remove the restore.
Well, make sure, sorry, go ahead and finish, Brian.
Well, no, I mean, it's just that's how I managed to crash my...
Right, so what can happen is if you move down to 0 and then you park the tool instead of raising up in Z, and it tries to go back to wherever its previous position was.
Right.
What will happen is it'll move to 0, and then since you mechanically are depressing the Z switch, 0 is actually not the tip of the Z switch, but it's actually partially depressed. So you can hit the edge of the bed and destroy the switch.
Yeah, I already forgot that I had put my phone on the bed and went to home, and it snapped.
No.
That just happened tonight. I snapped the probe. That's the second probe I've destroyed so far. Luckily, I have extras. Not a probe, but a switch. Just one of the end stops.
Yeah, but just in general though, I would never move the nozzle at 0. Like
right.
Once you're down to 0, you verify that you can read 0. So like if you're messing around with your tool offset and you're setting it, manually send the command to adjust the Z offset till you see that it physically says 0 where you think 0 should be. Okay. Then raise your head up and then do, drop off your tool or whatever, just to be double safe.
Right.
Like just never rush that type of thing when you're setting it up. So
right.
And don't do it after.
Not worth it.
What was that, Brian? Don't do it after what?
Don't do it after 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Of course, if I followed that rule, I mean, you guys seem to do everything after 10. You guys are late owls, night owls.
Well, it's because my son goes to bed, then I have to take care of animals, and then once that's all said and done, it's already 10 o'clock.
Right. How is your boy doing? Doing all right? He's sleeping?
Yeah, he's good.
Good.
He sleeps really well.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go refill my water glass.
Once in a while.
I think I'm gonna cut out. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, me too. I've got to actually start going to real work soon, so I got to start going to bed like a normal human.
All right. Good night.
You all have a good night. Take care.
Brian, I knew I wasn't going to finish the upgrade tonight, but I didn't even touch any of the aluminum pieces yet. I spent all night ripping apart the carriage and prepping the parts to put back on the carriage.